most northern tip from the other side. Now we're just around the tip of Cape York and anchored in a fairly nice little bay. Went ashore to get some juice and ice cream. A lot of sand. Beach is hard to get the dinghy out when the tide goes down, but it's really quite a nice spot. And we'll go on around to Thursday Island tomorrow, probably.
And here we are, supposedly in a tough spot, and it isn't very tough.
And this is what happens after a lovely short sail of 25 miles, and then we relax a little.
Yep.
But it's what it's all about.
And we set up the solar panels. And what else do we do?
Nothing. Solars are facing towards the sun. There's Oriole, a Aussie boat that has been going along with us, and our friends flying free right there. And that's about it.
It's usually not the season.
So we'll close until probably Thursday Island. Yeah, this is unusual. We've had a lovely day. It's just easy sail, and it was really nice.
Well, we're at Cape York, and we're looking out across the Torres Straits, and that's Papua New Guinea, if you can see it. Zero in on it, that's the sun. That's Papua New Guinea. Thursday Island out there, we're headed there. Well, it's actually Horn Island, and Thursday out beyond there. And then we will cross the Bay of Carpentaria, which is about close to 400 miles. We'll leave Thursday Island in 2 days. It's a great anchorage, and I was apprehensive about the Torres Strait and coming around the top. And we just got very lucky. Beautiful weather. This beach is probably 5 miles long. No activity. Nothing here. There's a little Aborigine resort we visited back in here. Climbed up to the top of that mountain. Didn't have this camera with us, unfortunately. Not a thing here but beauty. And shells by the millions. Yeah, we'll see if we can catch the sun dropping down. Maybe there's a green flash. No, I'm afraid Papua New Guinea's in the way for a green flash. But this is a good deal nicer than we expected it to be. We're still concerned about a bunch of boats that are, well, we got the news today that 4 or 5 were abandoned. One still hasn't been located or accounted for. Nobody's lives lost. If they can find that one missing boat, they've got the life raft. I don't think we'll have a green flash. New Guinea's in the way, so we'll turn it off a little more tomorrow.
Now, I don't think we've taken any pictures from here, but we'll start now. Anyway, we're on a trip now going into the outback, but first we're starting to see some of the old World War II activity that was here. And here are a couple of old planes. I don't know if you can read that airstrip thing. But, and then we'll go on, I think, out to Arnhem, Cape Arnhem, and we'll see what that's like.
We are in the Northern Territory of Australia. We've rented a 4-wheel drive truck, well, Jeep or whatever, and we're testing the hell out of it. Running along this beach, every time I try to take a picture it starts to rain. We've been in the bush for about 4 hours. Rugged coast, but quite beautiful. Water buffalo, crocodiles, lots of snakes, and I'm afraid some rain. So I'm kind of panning a little fast here. We're going up to a place called Cape Arnhem. The rain's coming down pretty hard now. I forgot to mention there are a lot of termite nests. And I'm going to close off. The rain stopped. And we're still in the Northern Territory, Aboriginal lands. Need a permit to get here. Not a lot of people. Haven't even seen any Aboriginals. Aboriginals, I should say. Some Land Rover tracks, but no sign of life. Lots of birds out here on these rocks. Very pretty area. Out here by Roland and Marlis, Dick, Penny, and Sue to check out what they've got. Dave's out here someplace. He's a single-hander from New Zealand. This group is going over the top. That's the top of Australia, a remote area through Aboriginal lands. We're on a cruise that will begin tomorrow, and should be really interesting. 23 boats, about 55 people, and there's a couple of them there. Should be quite a trip. Still just can't get used to the remoteness of Australia, this particular area. Beaches that run 100 miles. You fly over them and don't see a soul. Water buffalo come around the corner, and since they were an endangered species, they're very plentiful now. Great big things. I'm told 1.5 tons. The beaches are just magnificent. Everything for people. It's amazing how blasé we've become about these beaches and shells.
What Jim took. But anyway, we're at a place called Bauxite Levels or something like that. Anyway, on the Gulf of Carpentaria. We stopped for lunch. We're doing a bush four-wheel drive thing into the bush. And there's some oysters here, so you can guess what Jim's doing. And I think I just asked him, and I'll come back to him when he's home in. They're very hard to get off the rocks, but there's Jim. You can sort of see him there. Eating oysters. They're hard to get, but he's getting them. I'll zoom out, sort of go. This is a point, and we're going to go up to Cape Arnhem. which is about there, I guess, and then back through the bush and back to where the boat is. Lots of beaches, no people. We're on Aboriginal land. Gove now, as you know, and that says, I'll put it in focus, welcome over the top. It doesn't get in focus, but it's not. I don't know why. Now we can see. Anyway, we're going to do this cruise. Here's Jim. Looking out towards the harbor. We're out there sort of right in the middle. No dock, so we come in and land the dink at the beach, but it works. We have barbecues down here. We've had several. Bring our food ashore and cook on their grills. Showers over there, yonder. And this is the little yacht club. And just yonder there, you can see the truck that we just did
Well, we're at the Gove Yacht Club. We're about to leave after champagne breakfast, which we haven't begun yet, but just thought it's a pretty morning, about 7 o'clock, and thought you might be interested in how it looks. There is no dinghy dock here. It's all Aboriginal land, and there are no rights to the water. They lease this property. That's Roland and Marlis, I believe. About 25 of these boats are getting ready to do the over-the-top race, which is a race that goes, a rally, cruise, whatever, goes over the top of the Northern Territory through Aboriginal territories. We'll stop and visit several. It should be very interesting. That's Roland. That's a boat that's on the hard. And I don't know whether you can see the crib. I'll move over and show you. This is the way people hold. Low tide here, and there are no haulage facilities in this whole area. So what people do with about a 2.5 foot tide is come up, tie next to what they call a crib, do the bottom work overnight or for several days on either side of that, and be done with it. A number of people live on these boats and work at the facility, the bauxite facility next door. Well, next door is about a mile away. That's that big facility out there with the tanks and loading docks and so forth. Been a wonderful stay. We've been here about 10 days. Tough to leave. Met an awful lot of great people. But that seems to be the way it goes. More later. That's Ann and Jerry. They're on a boat called Lovely Lady. And we've been doing a bit of sailing with them. They're one of the few Americans in the area. Zoom in on them. Morning, Ann.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Well, we're doing pretty well. I'll be better after breakfast. I see the fleet's coming ashore. This looks like an invasion.
Yes.
How you doing, Jerry?
Good morning. Good morning, sea champagne.
The champagne breakfast for the over-the-top rally race, whatever you call it. Everybody's in good spirits. People from all over the world here, but we do have most of the Americans. Well, there are 3 American boats, and they're right there. My bride to the left. Quite a few Australians, New Zealanders, Germans, Swiss. It's a big affair. And I'd say generally that's the Australian and New Zealand contingent there. Not a whole lot of champagne being consumed because it's 7 o'clock in the morning, but spirits are high. We're in Gove Harbor, and we're getting ready for the start of the over the top. We've got 25 boats, and though it doesn't look like it, an awful lot of people have assembled on a pier, and they're getting ready on their own boats to see us off. This is
understandably, if you know Gove, the biggest event that occurs here, I guess, annually. And they'll have quite a few people out on the dock, the loading pier, and other areas to see us off. And everybody assembles here. We're kind of ready with a mighty sea shanty. That's La Donnée, a German boat. Here, I'll get out of the way here and shift. And you can see the large bauxite and alumina processing plant controlled by the Swiss. The Swiss seem to be controlling everything. The financial markets, the seas, and the bauxite production here. Very large loading facility and so forth. That's flying free. Swiss couple we've been sailing with a lot. A little hard to look through this lens and pick out the boats, so I won't try. But we've got Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Japan, of course the U.S., Australia, New Zealand, a lot of people represented here. People don't generally fly their flags, which I don't quite understand. But in any event, we're all getting ready, and it'll be a big event. Don't know that we'll get pictures after this. There'll be plenty of taking pictures of us within half an hour. But the start. The start is within about 45 minutes, I think, already. We'll have some more later. I don't know whether this will work, but we're on the over-the-top cruise, race, rally, whatever. And we've left from the bottom center, which is Gove. Pretty interesting sailing here. What we'll do today is to, we're right in this particular spot in the center. Wind's blowing pretty well, 25 knots, a little hard to hold this steady. These passes are pretty rough, lots of overfalls and so forth, because we've got about 25 knots of wind and tides roar through here. Today should be particularly interesting because we're going through a spot called the Hole in the Wall. Not this one, which looks like the hole in the wall, but the next spot, which is right here. And apparently you can't even see this until you're right on top of it. Very, very narrow. And the tides run run as high as 9 knots through there. We'll pick this so we have a westerly set right after high tide, and we'll hit that about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And if it's not too bad, we'll try to get some pictures. Anyway, that's the hole in the wall, and from there we'll run around into a little anchorage just to port. Should be pretty safe. Hope the wind drops down a little and make it a little bit easier. All for now. Check back later. Oh, we got a case of the Rocky and Rollies here. We're headed for the hole in the wall, and pretty good sea running, blowing 30 knots, I guess. You have to hit it exactly right, and this group will be a little bit early, but I think we're going to go through anyway. Fortunately, we've got our best co-skipper on the helm, my bride, and there's flying free. See if I can get a couple of other boats in there. The fleet is behind us, and a good bit more wind than any of us anticipated, so we all got here early and tried to reduce sail. I just a lot of water that washed up to the knee. Doesn't look quite as lumpy out here as it is. But we're all going to make it through, I'm sure. I think I might have mentioned earlier that at its maximum, the tide runs through this hole in the wall at 9 to 10 knots. We'll probably have 4 to 5 of us gone through, but I think we'll be a good bit smoother. So that's all for now. This is kind of a planned scene. If I can catch the hole in the wall up here. Yeah, there it is. We'll be all kind of close running through here, but we'll be fine. We've got almost all the jib in, and we're doing 5 knots. And and Roland has got a piece of his out. We tend to go faster than, well, thanks to this boat, faster than almost everybody else. Very narrow up there, narrower than it looks. I think maybe this ought to be called the eye of the needle, not the hole in the wall. We could do with a little less seas, but otherwise the group seems pretty good. We're all trying to slow down because it's about a 6-knot current with us right now. I'd like to have a little less, but the seas are pretty heavy. It's kind of tough to slow down and maintain control. We're in the front of the group here. Pretty big crowd behind us. They're probably a bit smarter. But we'll keep you posted. Now that's the fellow I thought I had the recorder on. This fellow's an Aussie that has an engine that may not be working, sails in and out of every anchorage. Beautiful sailor. That's a boat called Ben Bolt. Dudley is a fairly well-known racer. That try just flies. Yesterday he was up to 18 knots. We're getting pretty close. As we approach the headland here, seas have subsided substantially. A lot easier to take these shots. We're bumping around a bit. Not nearly as bad. You come out of here like a bottle popped out of a cork, apparently, and the last boat we talked to was doing, I think he said 11 knots through here, over the bottom. So we'll talk. Got another shot at against the wind. They're also a very fast catamaran. They're moving along. We're doing about 6 to 7 knots now. We've got very little sail up. Pretty good tide. Catch you later.
Going through this hole in the wall, fairly narrow. You get 2 or 3 boats maybe, but we're trying not to crowd anybody. There are a bunch of boats astern of us. I think you can see way out there, and there are quite a few in front of us. Start with the boats astern, and this is the other side of the see the current's going with us by quite a bit. Probably 4 or 5 knots with us, I would guess. We're idling, we're not in gear, and we have very little jenny up. We're just flying right on through. Boats, quite a few in front of us. We all sort of tried to slow down so we wouldn't get here too early. And we just go around this point and we'll anchor.
Well, the fleet has arrived. Everybody made it through the hole in the wall.
You got too fast a boat, that's why.
And we're getting ready for a barbecue on the beach. Lovely spot. Doesn't get much prettier.
Didn't go any slower. So put the reef in the main, didn't go any slower, another reef in the main.
People haven't arrived yet.
You guys see the thing, we were in reverse.
Yeah, we.
I wonder how you managed to.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a jib up and we had the engine in reverse. We didn't want to worry you, you know. But we were still kind of roaring through there at 6 or 8 knots. Hans said he was doing 10, 11, 12.
Over the bottom, going through here?
Yes.
I guess we were doing more than 6 or 8.
Well, it looked like, when you looked at the side, it looked like we had 4 or 5 with us.
Yeah.
But we just had a
osprey nest with babies right here, but I'm afraid we've frightened them away. I hope they'll come back. I'd love to get a shot at it. But we'll see what happens. We're getting ready for a barbecue. Not too many here yet, but we'll have 50 within the hour. Lots of beer, lots of wine, lots of fire. Well, this is the advanced group.
Serious.
This is the serious drinking group here. I come in a little too close here.
Very, very dark and this is good. No,
They'll make a good thing.
Now we've got the grills not quite started, but the wood pile looks like it'll handle it. Well, the group's assembling. Not all here yet. Fires have been started. It's really a neat crowd. And I must say, of the places we've left, the Gove Yacht Club has been about as tough as any of them. They make you feel just so at home. Really a nifty spot. Could spend a lot of time there. Now everybody's not ashore left yet, but it does look a little bit like maybe we ought to call it a day. But the dinghies are, we have about a 9-foot tide here. We're on our way to Darwin, by the way. Darwin has about a 28-foot tide, so it gets a bit dicey. Currents get pretty good. Lovely sunset here, by the way, and we should have gotten a shot of this beach. I think I did, so I won't bother you with it again.
Yeah, that was not original.
Well, we're on the beach. Just finished our dinner. I don't know how much of this will be seen, but this is the first barbecue on the beach.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty one. He passed us as we were coming through the gap here. You did? Yeah. Bye.
Well, they're going up higher and higher. I hope that tree doesn't fall down. Hey. James, we're in an Aboriginal territory, and we're kind of walking down the beach here. There are a couple of us, and most of them, and we're on a fishing expedition, a true fishing expedition for real fish. James on the right is a village elder, has 2 children, delightful guy, and hell of a fisherman with that spear. So we're hoping we'll get some for this evening's meal. We'll have another barbecue on the beach. Really a wonderful group of Aborigines here. Don't see many travelers. More later. We're still walking around Aboriginal areas and getting to know them a bit. And we're going to do a little hunting too. I don't know what we'll be hunting for, but it's been a great day. Lovely area. And maybe they've got the right idea. Kind of a nice spot. Catch all their own food. Can't beat the view. Very nice people. Well, you can see the fleet. If I can hold the camera steady enough, it's quite some distance away. We're in another little Aboriginal village, and I hope you can see the beach with the dinghies, but I can't through this lens. And we walked along that beach. Well, if we could capture this and move it to the States, you'd do all right. Well, now this is big time because there is a telephone here, and you don't find many telephones around. And the way it works is with a solar panel which drives a VHF transmitter through that antenna. So the Aboriginals have all the necessary comforts. A little short on ice. They do not drink, by the way. No alcohol allowed, although when they do drink, they're not tolerant, so it's a problem. Well, I mentioned they weren't tolerant, meaning they could not tolerate alcohol. So it is a